I almost spilled my coffee when I saw her through the window of the construction trailer. Lisa Hayes, my daughter-in-law. 8 months pregnant, wearing a dirty apron, taking orders from my own crew at Maria's taco truck. The same woman my son Benjamin insisted had run away with another man 3 months ago. I'm Victor Hayes, 58 years old, and I've been running Hayes Construction for 30 years. Built it from nothing after I came back from Vietnam, started as a framer and worked my way up. Now we're making $20 million a year, and I thought I'd seen every kind of betrayal the business world could throw at me. I was wrong. Theodore Walsh, my business partner for 15 years, was sitting across from me in the trailer, tapping his fingers on a $2.3 million development contract. We had been going over the Oakwood Plaza project details for an hour, but my hand was shaking so much I couldn't sign the papers. Victor, you've been staring at that signature line for 10 minutes, Ted said. What's wrong? You feel okay? That was an understatement. For months, I'd been getting these dizzy spells that hit me hard. Headaches, nausea, tiredness that made me feel like I was 80 instead of 58. My doctor said it could be stress or just age catching up with me. I figured that's what happens when you spend 3 decades building a company from the ground up. Just tired, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Haven't been sleeping well. Theodore shifted in his seat. Look, this is our biggest project yet. We need this signed today if we want to start next month. The investors are getting nervous. I nodded and tried to focus on the contract. That's when I heard the sound of the food truck pulling up outside. It was lunchtime and the crew needed to eat. Normal job site noise. Nothing strange about that. You want anything? Theodore asked, standing up. Maria's Tacos is here. Just a coffee, I said. Black. He walked outside, and I could hear voices through the thin walls of the trailer. Workers joking, placing their orders. The kind of everyday sounds I'd heard for 30 years. But then I heard something that made my blood go cold. A woman's voice, soft, nervous, familiar. That's when I looked out the window and saw her. Lisa Hayes, my son's wife, struggling with the cash box while balancing her big belly. The guys were being polite. My crew has good manners. But I could see how hard it was for her to move around in that small truck. Her face was pale, tired, like she hadn't been eating properly. What the hell was Lisa doing working at a food truck? Benjamin had told the whole family she left him for some guy from California. Said she took all their money and disappeared without a word. We all felt sorry for him, thought he was the one who got hurt. I even helped him move back into the family house, told him he could stay as long as he needed. But there she was, 8 months pregnant, serving tacos to construction workers for tips. I watched Theodore walk up to the truck window. Lisa's face turned white when she saw him. She tried to look away, but he had already recognized her. Holy hell, I heard him say. Isn't that Benjamin's wife? Lisa handed him his order without looking up. Her hands were shaking so much she almost dropped the bag. The way she stood bent forward like she was trying to hide. It reminded me of wounded soldiers I saw in Vietnam. People who had been through something awful. I couldn't sit there any longer. I stood up from the desk, my legs feeling weak. The hot Texas air hit me when I opened the trailer door, and for a second the world spun. But I kept walking toward the food truck. When Lisa saw me, she froze, pure fear in her eyes, like she'd seen a ghost or an enemy. Lisa? I said, my voice breaking. What are you doing here? She looked around quickly like a trapped animal. I'm just working, Mr. Hayes, trying to make some money. Working? I stepped closer. Benjamin said you left town, said you ran away with someone. Tears started falling down her face. Please, she whispered, don't tell him you saw me. Don't tell him? My own son? Lisa, talk to me. What's going on? She looked at Theodore, then back at me. Her eyes kept moving like she was planning how to escape. Not here, please. Can we talk somewhere else? I told Theodore I wasn't feeling well and needed to go home early, which was true. I felt like I was going to throw up. The whole thing was making my head spin worse than usual. We agreed to finish the Oakwood Plaza papers tomorrow. Lisa followed me in her old Honda to a Denny's about 5 miles from the site. Far enough so none of my crew would see us, but close enough so she wouldn't panic and run. In the booth, she looked even worse than before. Dark circles under her eyes, skin pale. One hand resting on her belly the whole time, like she was protecting it. The waitress brought coffee, and I saw Lisa's hands tremble when she reached for sugar. "He didn't just ask me to leave, Victor," she said softly. "He forced me to leave." "What do you mean, forced you?" "Benjamin brought Patricia Wilson home. You remember her? She used to work for your company?" I remembered her. Smart. Good with numbers. "I fired her 2 years ago for lying on expense reports." "What about her?" "He moved her into our house while I was still living there. Said she was helping with business." But they weren't hiding anything. They wanted me to see. My hands tightened into fists. "He was cheating on you? While you were pregnant?" "Worse," Lisa said, wiping her eyes. "They made me feel invisible. She wore my clothes, my jewelry, cooked in my kitchen like it was hers. They sat together talking about their future like I wasn't even there. I felt sick hearing this. Why didn't you call me? Benjamin said if I caused trouble, he'd say I was mentally unstable. Said he'd take the baby and I'd never see him again. He has good lawyers. I have nothing. The waitress came back to refill our coffee. I waited until she left. Where have you been staying? My car mostly. Sometimes a cheap motel if I have money. Maria, the woman with the food truck, lets me work for cash. No questions. Jesus, Lisa, you're 8 months pregnant, living in a car? She nodded, crying again. I know it's not safe, but I have nowhere else. My parents think I left Benjamin. He called them first, said I ran away. They won't even answer my calls. I leaned back, trying to take it all in. My son, the boy I raised, had thrown his pregnant wife out like trash. There's something else, Lisa said, even quieter. About you being sick. What do you mean? I used to do bookkeeping. I know when numbers don't add up. Someone is stealing from Hayes Construction. A lot. My cup shook when I put it down. How much? At least $750,000. Maybe more. Fake companies, false payments, overpriced materials. Things started connecting in my head. Every time I got sick, Benjamin stepped in to handle business. Lisa, I need to ask you something. Have you ever noticed anything strange about my coffee when Benjamin makes it? Her face turned pale. Oh my God. You think they're poisoning you? I don't know what to think. But I've been getting worse, and it always happens before important meetings. Times when Benjamin would end up making choices for the company. Lisa put her hand over her mouth in shock. The morning I left, the day Benjamin finally forced me out, I heard them talking in the kitchen very early. Patricia said something about a powder, about how it was working faster than they had expected. At the time, I thought they were talking about some kind of supplement or medicine. The restaurant started to feel like it was spinning around me. My own son was trying to kill me, slowly and carefully, so it would look like natural causes. I need proof, I said, my voice calm even though my mind was in chaos, and I need both of you safe. I paid the bill and drove Lisa to a decent hotel on the other side of town. I knew that place. Nothing special, but decent. She was living there using money taken from my company. Around noon, Albert called again. They just left together in Benjamin's truck, heading back to your construction site. I'm on my way, I said. I drove to the Oakwood Plaza site and parked where I could see the main trailer. Benjamin and Patricia went inside and started looking at papers on the desk, probably planning their next step, thinking I was getting weaker and easier to control. Then my phone rang. It was Dr. Beverly Johnson. Victor, you need to come in right away. Your blood test shows something very serious. What kind of problem? I asked. High levels of heavy metals in your body, she said. Specifically, arsenic. This does not happen naturally. Have you been around anything strange recently? Old chemicals? Bad water? Anything like that? No, I said, watching Benjamin through the window. Nothing like that. Victor, I have to ask you directly, she said. Is it possible someone is trying to hurt you? These levels are not an accident. This looks like poisoning. What should I do? I asked. You need to call the police immediately. And you need treatment to remove the poison from your body before it causes permanent damage. I ended the call and immediately called Albert. Al, connect me to Detective Richard Palmer at Dallas Police. Tell him Victor Hayes wants to report an attempted murder. You got confirmation? He asked. Blood test shows arsenic, I said. Just like you thought. Jesus, Vic, he said. How are you even still walking around? Years of hard work and training, I said. It takes more than that to bring me down. But the truth was, I was scared, angry, and heartbroken at the same time. My son, the only child I raised and trusted, was trying to kill me for money. Albert and Detective Richard Palmer met me at the police station about an hour later. Palmer was a good officer, about my age, with a face that showed years of dealing with family problems like this. He understood what it meant when family turned against each other. Mr. Hayes, he said, these are very serious claims. If we want to charge someone with attempted murder, we need strong evidence, not just a blood test. What else do you need? I asked. We need proof of how the poison was given, proof of the money that was taken, and if possible, a confession. Do you think you can get your son to admit what he has done? I thought for a moment. Maybe, I said. If he thinks I am dying, he might say something he should not. We made a plan. I would call Benjamin that night and tell him I was having chest pains and needed him to come home right away. The police would set up recording equipment in the house and wait outside. Then we would see if he would confess when he thought he was about to win. That evening, I called Benjamin just after dinner. Son, I need you to come to the house right now. Something is wrong with me. I'm having chest pain and I can't seem to breathe properly. Did you call 911? Should I meet you at the hospital? No, no hospital. I just need you here. Please come quick. He arrived at the house in about 15 minutes. I was sitting in my chair in the study, acting more sick than I really was. The recording devices were hidden, and Detective Palmer was waiting in the next room. Dad, you look really bad. We should take you to the emergency room. No hospital, I said softly. I just need some rest. But Benjamin, I have to tell you something important about the company and my will. He sat down in front of me, trying to look worried, but I could see a different look in his eyes. What about it, Dad? I've been thinking about what you said, about stepping back and letting you take control. I want to change my will tomorrow. I want to give part of the business to Lisa and the baby. His face changed right away. The fake worry disappeared and something hard and cold took its place. What are you talking about? Dad, Lisa left us. She walked away from this family. She doesn't deserve anything. She is carrying your child, my grandchild. That baby deserves safety. That baby might not even be mine. You can't give what I worked for to some cheating woman who couldn't even keep her husband happy. His words hit me hard. Benjamin, that is your wife you are talking about, not anymore. And if you are foolish enough to change your will for her, you may not live long enough to sign it. There it was, clear and recorded. What do you mean by that? He stood up and started walking around the room restlessly. It means you are an old man, Dad. Old men have accidents, heart problems. Sometimes they just pass away in their sleep. Are you threatening me? I am just saying the truth. You have been getting weaker every month. Maybe it is time you accept what is happening. And what is that? That you built this company for me, for your son, not for some pregnant woman who didn't value what she had. I had heard enough. I stood up from my chair, stronger than I had been in months. The hidden microphone caught everything we needed. Benjamin Hayes, you are under arrest. Detective Palmer and 2 officers walked in through the front door right on time. Benjamin's face turned pale. What is going on? You are under arrest for attempted murder and theft, Palmer said, reading his rights while the other officers held him. This is crazy. He is a sick old man. You can't trust what he says. As they put handcuffs on him and took him out to the police car, Benjamin looked back at me through the window. Not like a son looking at his father. Like a stranger who had been caught. Patricia Wilson was arrested at her apartment 2 hours later. The police found enough arsenic to kill many people, along with records that showed how they had been stealing money from Hayes Construction for over a year. The trial happened 3 months later. The prosecution explained everything. How Benjamin had been slowly poisoning me while sending money to fake companies that Patricia controlled. They planned to kill me slowly, take everything and run away to Costa Rica, where they already had bank accounts. Benjamin's lawyer tried to say I was a bad father and a harsh boss, claiming Benjamin was just protecting himself and Patricia from me. The jury made their decision in less than 4 hours. Both of them were found guilty. Benjamin was sentenced to 15 years for attempted murder and stealing money. Patricia got 20 years because she was the main planner. During sentencing, neither of them showed any regret. Benjamin even told the judge that I had ruined his life by being too strict. Lisa's baby, my grandson Leo, was born 2 weeks after the trial. He was healthy and strong with bright eyes. Lisa let me hold him in the hospital. This small, perfect child who almost did not have a grandfather. What will you tell him about his father when he grows up? I asked Lisa while she held him. She said she would tell him that some people make bad choices, but his grandfather is a good man who protected him before he was even born. I created a trust fund for Leo that Benjamin can never touch, even if he leaves prison early. I also changed my will to give Hayes Construction to Lisa, with instructions to sell it and use the money to raise Leo in a safe way. The company still runs, but I do not manage it anymore. I gave daily control to Theodore and moved to a small ranch about an hour from Dallas. Lisa and Leo visit me every weekend. She calls me Dad now, and that means more to me than any business success. The poison caused some lasting damage. My hands still shake sometimes, and I get tired faster. But I am alive, my grandson is safe, and Lisa has what she needs to build a good life. Some evenings I sit on the porch and think about Benjamin, wondering where I failed as a father. How did a boy I raised to work hard and respect others become someone who would hurt his own father for money? I think maybe he had too much too soon. He never struggled like I did. He never learned that good things take time and real effort. He expected to receive everything without understanding what it takes to keep it. That is a mistake I will not make with Leo. He will learn to work hard, to use his hands, and to value honest work. He will learn what real respect means. Most important, he will learn that family should protect each other, not hurt each other for gain. And he will never have to fear being hurt by people who say they love him. That is my promise as a grandfather who almost did not live long enough to make it. And I will keep that promise for as long as I am alive. The hardest thing I learned is this. Blood does not always mean loyalty, but character builds your legacy. You can build wealth, but if you do not build the person who receives it, then you have built nothing. Trust is earned by actions, not given by family name. Watch what people do when they think no one is watching. That is when you see who they really are, and that is when you make the choices that protect everything you have worked for.